Greetings from the Ellis Foundation, and welcome to the Ellis Fall 2017 Virtual Mentoring Meeting. As we visit with our amazing Ellis Scholars, we hope to share inspiration, motivation, and new perspectives. We're here to remind you and to help you realize your full potential. The Ellis Foundation is truly growing in reputation and in numbers. There's a tremendous need for mature, productive workers, and you are answering that call with responsible, self-supporting, contributing lives. Because we're growing, we've added 3 new staff members, and we're expanding our mentoring program, so you can look forward to more communication, more networking, more assistance. You are one of 730 amazing Ellis Scholars in our program this year. You are a select few with tremendous potential and opportunity. You were chosen for our program because of 3 characteristics. First, grit, kind of a stubborn resilience about life's difficulties. Second, gusto, an attitude of enthusiasm and a positive outlook on life. And 3, gratitude, kind of an all-encompassing appreciation. Through our mentoring program, we hope to expand your vision for your future and to equip you with tools, Ellis Essentials, to be all that you can be. Before we start, I'd like to introduce you to an Ellis Scholar. This is Josh, who's from the East Coast. He is a great student, a wrestler, loves outdoor sports, and decided to take an unusual path for life and join the Merchant Marines. So his first year at 18 is filled with bookwork. And his second year at 19, he is in the middle of the Indian Ocean, navigating virtually by himself from Australia to Japan. Josh is in the middle of the Indian Ocean, navigating a ship virtually by himself from Australia to Japan. When Josh wakes up every morning, he has 2 very clear questions. Where am I, and where am I going? And without a clear answer to both of those, he literally could be lost in the Indian Ocean. However, the same is true for you. Without a clear idea of where you are every morning in relation to classwork, student debt, personal finance, and relationships, you too could be adrift at sea. Without a clear vision of what you're heading towards, you also will have a hard time navigating toward your future. The reality is that most people start their days without even a single plan of how to move toward their future. So today, let's meet 4 individuals, all of whom will share a life lesson with you. All these individuals also share with you the characteristics of grit, gusto, and gratitude. From Danny and Willa Ellis, the founders of the Ellis Foundation, we'll learn about facing life squarely, looking life in the eye. At one point in their career, they purchased 12 semi-trailers and were able to pay one of them off promptly. But the economy took a dive and they were faced with 12 semi-trailers to pay for. At that point, most of us might park those in the back, but Danny called his guys and asked them to pull those semi-trailers in front of his office window and park them in a semicircle so that every moment of every day he faced squarely what he needed to do to drum up business, to get the semis paid for, and that's in fact what he did. So from Danny and Willa Ellis, we want to remember to live life with your feet squarely planted in reality. Are there aspects of your life that need to be pulled forward from the back lot? Whether it's personal finance or relationships, individual class performance, or student debt. Much of your life will be defined by how you handle adversity and whether you park your troubles in the back lot, out of sight, or whether you pull those up in front and face life's challenges squarely. Next, let's meet Neil Patterson, who also came from very modest beginnings and became a Kansas billionaire. Neil has been an Ellis Scholarship sponsor, and he's co-founder of Cerner Corporation. One quote guides Neil's amazing life: "One last round after sunset." In essence, push yourself to the limit. It takes just such a little extra effort to succeed. So in his 30s, Neil was working a 9-to-5 job, but he had a bigger vision. So Neil and a coworker, Cliff Illig, spent their lunches in Luce Park with a notebook, brainstorming ideas for a new business, and came up with Cerner Corporation. Both Neil and his wife passed away recently from cancer, but he's left an amazing legacy for others. For you, can you push yourself to your limits? Can you give your studies an extra 15 or 20 minutes each day? How do you spend your lunchtime? And could it be more productive? You'll be building stamina, character, and an amazing reputation. Next, let's meet Martha Berry. She's going to tell us about how to handle life's no's. Martha was an educator and enjoyed walking through the woods near her rural Georgia home, but she kept meeting children who had no education. So she set up a shack and offered to come every day and teach them. Well, the number of students grew, and at one point she decides she'll approach an investor to build a school. She talks to Henry Ford, asks him for a couple $1,000s, to which he promptly replies no. Now, most of us at that point would probably shake his hand and express our appreciation for the few minutes we had in his presence, but not Martha. Martha said, "Then, Henry, would you give me a dime? How about if you let me invest 10 cents and I'll be back in a year and we'll see what happens?" So in fact he did. And in a year, Martha returns with several $1,000s. So what happened? Martha went back and bought corn. She had the children in her school plant it and harvest it and sell it. And so she returned to Henry Ford with this profit. The exciting part of the story is over the next couple decades, Henry Ford invests about $25 million in this school, which eventually becomes Berry University in Rome, Georgia. I think Martha's lesson is especially helpful as we look at the interview process. First, Martha approached Henry Ford from a level playing field. She entered the room with assurance. She wasn't begging him for a donation, just as you won't be begging for an internship or a job. It's a fair trade. Your labor, your time, your energy and stress for a paycheck. An investment for both of you. 2, Martha understood the full potential of this relationship. She'd done her homework, she understood the man, and knew that she'd need to prove herself. She was ready with a counteroffer, a plan B. And third, Martha had follow-through. She came through with the goods. So as you approach the interview process for internships or jobs, you might remember the story from Martha Berry. So last we'll meet Win Lee, actually a character out of a Chinese proverb. Win Lee lives in a country where the emperor is aging and needs to find a successor. So he devises a plan. He brings all the children in the kingdom together and hands them seeds and says, "Tend these well, come back in a year, and from that I'll make a decision about who will be the next emperor." So a year goes by and the courtyard is filled with proud parents and children and foliage. The emperor makes his way up and down the rows and talks to the children till he comes to an empty clay pot. And he said, "Hey, Win Lee, what's up?" And Win Lee says, "I am so sorry, Emperor. I did exactly as you asked, but nothing happened." So the emperor makes his way back up to the podium and announces, "I have made my decision. The next emperor will be Wen Li." So what's up with that? The emperor had actually boiled all the seeds. All the seeds were sterile. Sometimes, to do what's right, you may end up standing alone. The reality is you are in a dual education program. You're following your college objectives, but you're also in a major transition in life. In school, you'll get the lesson, and then there'll be a test. But in life, often you get the test, and then you've got to figure out what the lesson is. Remember to take advantage of the hard-earned lessons of others. If you gained a nugget of insight from any of these 4 individuals, let us know. If you have advice to share with other Ellis scholars, take time to put together a brief video or send in an email. Remember, we're here to help. If you have trouble with classes or scheduling, or you'd like to brainstorm about your degree or your career, email or call us. We'll be glad to help. Remember, it's about time for thank you notes. Your sponsor would love an update on your college journey, on your aspirations. Remember to send an updated photo along. Check out our Facebook page at the Ellis Foundation. You'll find lots of inspirational stories there. And just remember, we're here to make your journey in college a success.